Okay.
Calling us to order.
Yep, we're going to call this to order and get started here. So I want to welcome everybody. So let's go ahead and get started. And if you don't mind standing, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance of the flag, and Mr. Lesher is going to do a short little prayer for us.
Almighty God, we give you thanks for all you have provided for our public servants and county government, for our teachers and emergency workers and law enforcement professionals. Help us to recognize the blessing that we have in them and give us the wisdom to be good stewards of these resources, that they might continue to be a blessing to all of us. In your holy name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I want to welcome everybody. Thank you, Mr. Lesher. We got a afternoon meeting. So we're going to get started with the agenda of May 2nd before us. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda today? Okay, hearing none, the chair moves that the agenda be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay, first on the agenda is the minutes of April 18th. That's been before us, and council's taking a look at it. Is there any deletions, additions, or corrections to that? Okay. Okay, hearing none, council, the chair moves that it is unanimous, accepted as unanimous consent. Next is the disbursements of May 2nd before us. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the disbursements? Okay. Hearing none, the chair moves that the disbursements be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay, first up is a proclamation, Older Americans Month. So I don't want to use the word older, but maybe we could use can we use younger? Experience. There you go.
Seasoned.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Madam Secretary, would you mind reading that into the record, please?
Proclamation, Older Americans Month, May 2023, Aging Unbound. Whereas Talbot County includes a growing number of older Americans who contribute their strength, wisdom, and experience to our community. And whereas communities benefit when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds have the opportunity to participate and live independently. And whereas Talbot County recognizes the need to create a community that offers the services and supports which older adults may need to make choices about how they age. And whereas Talbot County can work to build an even better community for its older residents by not limiting its thinking about aging, exploring and combating stereotypes, emphasizing the many positive aspects of aging, inspiring older adults to push past traditional boundaries, and embracing the diversity of our community. Now therefore, we, the County Council of Talbot County, do hereby proclaim May 2023 to be Older Americans Month in Talbot County and urge every resident to celebrate our older citizens, recognize the contributions our older citizens make to the community, help create an inclusive society, and accept the challenge of flexible thinking around aging. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County, the 2nd day of May in the year of our Lord, 2023.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. That was well done. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Okay, we got everybody saying something. Yeah. Okay, motion second to go ahead and approve the proclamation as presented as Madam Secretary.
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Yep. And I apologize, Miss Melky. I want you. She couldn't be here tonight or this afternoon because she was feeling under the weather. So we welcome her, and she's on the phone with us. So thank you, Miss Melky. Okay, Miss Charlene, you want to come on up?
Can I have Mr. Martin?
Absolutely. Yep. Anybody with any experience can come up. Okay.
Neither one of us have any experience in this.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
we just want to thank you all for recognizing Older American Month. That is not
Yeah.
our terminology. It's the National Council on Aging that comes up with that terminology.
Right.
But we really appreciate the support that you all have done, and I understand I need a special thank you to Mr. Stepp for introducing this information to you all.
That's
But
good.
thank you so very,
Yep.
very much. For
Yep, thank
all
you
you've done
guys.
For us and for Bay Hunter.
But what we refer to the group there as 60 or better.
I got you. That's great. Okay. Mrs. Heath? Yeah.
So I just want to say, you know, I enjoyed the volunteer event that you did for your seniors last week, and that was a great event to see all the volunteers that come forth to help at the senior center. So in celebration of Older Americans Month, I salute you all and the work that you do.
Thank you. Mr. Lesher?
Well, I'm just thrilled to see all that the senior centers, both of them, are doing for our senior populations here. It's good to see the participation has come back in the post-pandemic environment, and you're back to all of the wonderful activities that you provide for this population in Talbot County. So thank you for carrying the torch and doing all that you do to support that population.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
the thanks needs to be coming from us to you for all the work that you do for all of our citizens here. So sincerest thanks. It's been a pleasure to come out there and see everything that you do, be a part of some of those activities. It's just been really great. So thank you.
Yep. And I'll just add to that, you know, you guys really provide a service to a population that means a lot to us and means a lot to everybody. So that place is very special, and it was shut down for a few years, and it took a toll on people. That's for sure. You know, and it really showed how well it was missed. So you do a great job. You guys are the best, and we're glad to support you guys. That's for sure. Anything you need, you let us know.
Thank you.
And I promise you, I will be there. Okay.
You all heard him make that promise, right?
Just Thanksgiving. Just
And you're putting it in the minutes.
I know it.
okay.
I know it. It's in the minutes now. You know.
Well,
So,
thank you so much.
okay. Well, so Keisha, you want to go ahead and present that to them, please?
Please come down and visit the Bay Hunter.
Thanks.
We appreciate your support.
Thank you. You're good. You're good. 65. Okay, let's move on. We got one more, and it's Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. So, Madam Secretary, would you go ahead when you get a chance and read that into the record, please?
Proclamation Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month, May 2023. Whereas motorcycles are energy-efficient vehicles that reduce fuel consumption and road wear, significantly contribute to a reduction in traffic and parking congestion, and are an increasingly popular mode of transportation for commuting, touring, and recreation. And whereas safety is the highest priority for the streets and roadways of our county, and safe riding practices and cooperation from all road users will help reduce the number of fatalities and injuries on our nation's highways. And whereas the members of the Midshore chapter of ABATE of Maryland, Inc. continually promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness to the general public in Talbot County and the state. And whereas Talbot County is proud to be a supporter of motorcycle safety, awareness, and education, and it is especially important that the citizens of our county and state stay alert and be aware of motorcycles on the roadways. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the County Council of Talbot County, do hereby proclaim May as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month in Talbot County and encourage all motorists and citizens to join together in an effort to improve safety and awareness on our roadways. Given under our hands in the Great Seal of Talbot County, the 2nd day of May in the year of our Lord, 2023.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. Good job. Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and approve it, and put it in as presented. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay. Ken, you want to come on, you guys want to come on up?
You
Hey,
can always
guys,
give
go
him the microphone.
Yeah.
I'm Ken Eaton. I'm the State Executive Director for APPROPRIATION Maryland, and I'm also the chapter coordinator because I haven't talked Mark into being the local chapter coordinator yet.
Gotcha.
Sounds like it's
Gotcha. Yeah, it's coming.
I'm assistant director for a different county.
It's gotcha.
We cover 4 counties. He covers Queen Anne's County.
I got you. I got you.
We have chapters all over the state, and we are a motorcycle rights organization. We just spent a rather challenging time at the Maryland General Assembly chasing bills, good, bad, and indifferent, about motorcyclists.
Right.
It was different this year, I'm sure, as any of you may know.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
But we certainly appreciate the county offering to do this proclamation. It's pretty important for us to make sure that people know we're out there.
Right.
We like to remind them every spring.
Yeah.
Some people ride all year long, but most of them start coming back out in the spring, so you'll see more of us.
Well, that's great.
We've
That's
talked the MVA into printing some more motorcycle safety signs, so hopefully we'll
Right.
get those, and you'll see those
Right.
out in the yards again soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I have everything right, we'll have this on the overhead signs throughout the state through the month of May.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. So, all right, that's great. So, Ms. Heath, yeah, good.
So this is one thing that's on my bucket list, is to get my motorcycle license and to buy my husband a motorcycle that he gave up when we got married. So eventually we'll get there, and I'll be taking those lessons, hopefully.
Good. That's good.
I just
Flash
want
it.
to thank you for what you're doing to promote safety. I have a family member who's a rider, and I want her to be around. And so we know how vulnerable a motorcyclist can be out there on the highway, and how important it is for everyone to be aware and to be protecting all of us out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Proud to be delivering this to you guys today. What you do is very important. I was hoping to win your raffle. I had 5 tickets. I had money for 4 in my pocket, and I saw there was 1 left, so I had to find another. I think it was $5 a ticket. I asked for the winner. I didn't get it, but proud to do this today. What you're doing is very important, and make sure we're just keeping folks safe out on the roads. So thank you.
If you want to buy this year's raffle ticket,
You got something with you?
Harrison's is having an event this weekend, and
Okay.
we're going to have the bike there.
All right. Mr. Stepp, you want to go ahead and present that to him?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Okay, then. That's good. All right. We want to go ahead and, we got a few minutes. What, you want to go ahead and do some county manager report stuff and get that over with?
Sure, thank you, Mr.
Yep.
Council President.
Mm-hmm.
Under County Manager Report, we have no specific request for your approval on boards and committee vacancies. However, the county has a number of vacancies available on other boards and committees. If you're interested in serving, please contact the County Manager's Office at 410-770-8010, or visit our website at www.talbotcountymd.gov. Vacancies exist on the following: Adult Public Guardianship Review Board, Agricultural Resolution Board, Animal Control Board, Board of Appeals, Board of Electrical Examiners, Commission on Aging, Historic Preservation Commission, Public Works Advisory Board, and the Talbot County Tax Assessment Appeals Board. Again, if you're interested, please send in a request, and we would welcome that. I'll call Brian Moore up. Brian, you can come forward. We have a request from the Roads Department, recommendation to award bid number 23-05, furnishing and delivery with possible application of CRS 2L emulsified asphalt with polymer. As you read in your agenda packet, we have low bidder Slurry Pavers Incorporated from Richmond, Virginia, for unit prices of $2.63 per gallon delivered and $2.98 per gallon delivered and applied. Total 2 bids were received. Funding is available in the roads budget, and Brian is here to offer any more information or answer any questions for you. Brian.
Yes, Slurry Pavers has won the award for several years, has worked with the roads department for several years, and has been a good partner, and they are low bid. So we support to move forward with the bid so we can get things lined up.
Okay, that's great. Any other questions from council?
This supplies you with the materials for the entire paving season?
Yes, this is the stone and chip process. So this is the asphalt that binds the stones together. So this is the tar and chip process. This is the material needed to do that process.
Terrific.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the bid.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there, Madam Secretary, there's a motion second to award bid 2305 for some asphalt, repaving, CR 20, what's it, CR 21. Could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Melky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your
Brian.
support.
Thanks a lot, Brian, appreciate it.
And Brian's doing a good job over at the Roads Department and
is.
Facilities, so
Yeah, he
want
is.
to recognize him as he exits the room quickly.
Yes, he does, yeah, exactly.
I think I need to speak a little slower, right?
Yeah,
We're trying
yeah.
to get to 2 o'clock.
Yep.
The next item I have, Council, is a request for a letter of support of extending Midshore 2 Regional Landfill, Ridgely, Caroline County, operating dates. As you read in your agenda packet, I'm requesting Council approval to send a letter of support for extending the operating dates of Midshore 2 Regional Landfill located in Ridgely, Maryland. The Maryland Environmental Service has stated there is sufficient disposal capacity at the landfill to keep it open through approximately 2042 under the existing state permits. So I'd be
Okay.
happy to answer any questions, but we are asking for that letter. We would benefit by the extending the service of the landfill in Caroline County in a negotiation between, in essence, Caroline County and Queen Anne's County.
I'm thrilled to see this request. This comes from a 4-county 80-year agreement whereby Talbot County, Caroline, Queen Anne's, and Kent have all agreed, rather than each operating our own independent landfills, to collaborate and take turns. And Talbot County took a 20-year turn, and when we closed it up a few years back, we went. There's a lot that goes into closing a landfill. There's a lot of monitoring, groundwater monitoring, and to ensure the long-term safety of this. And in fact, we extracted some landfill gas, from methane gas from this as well. But there are costs that go to closing a landfill, and so this 20 years we did Talbot County, we're closing in toward the. I guess we're about halfway through the one for Caroline, the agreement with Caroline County's turn, and extending this will save all of our counties money because we will get more years for those inevitably the same closing costs, and so I laud the Kent County for initiating this extension, and appreciate what Caroline County's interest in extending the life of ours. It certainly is going to help Talbot County taxpayers and those who make uses, including our municipalities, who make use of the regional landfill. In one thing, at least for the nearer future, before it moves on to Queen Anne County or ultimately to Kent County, in their nearer term, it is certainly going to going to save us some transportation costs because the Caroline County landfill is closer. That said, you know, a good benefit. There's been talk for years about what do we do about taking full advantage of the capacity of these regional landfills rather than just when the 20-year agreement comes up, closing up and moving on and leaving that unfilled capacity. This makes a whole lot of sense, and while the 80-year agreement among these 4 counties will already last long past the time that I'm beneath the sod and pushing up daisies, this will extend the service of this 4-county agreement, I presume, or has the potential to do so for even a longer period. So thanks all around, and I'll move to authorize the letter to be sent in response.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second to send a letter of support extending the Mitchell Region 2 landfill. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Hayes?
Aye.
Okay.
Council, that completes the county manager's report for this
Okay.
meeting. Thank you.
All right.
I didn't talk slow enough.
Yeah, that's all right. Pete was trying.
He was
Okay,
trying.
he was trying, you know. Yeah.
You could call a short recess. You could we could go to council comments. We could.
You want to go to council
Yeah.
comments? Okay.
So
all right. Yeah.
our council president is, we are not allowed to start the public hearing on the budget until 2 o'clock, since that is the advertised time. And so we're looking to fill the time until that second hand sweeps up toward,
Yeah.
to say it is
Yeah.
2 o'clock.
So we're going to leave it up to Councilman DeVillio to come up here and talk. Yes. Yeah. So, all right, Jess, was there a sign-up sheet for council comments?
For public.
Public comments, I'm sorry.
There is, but I believe most people are here to speak on the budget itself.
Oh, they are, okay.
Are you doing public comments or council comments?
We're going,
Council comments.
okay, council, yeah. So, we'll start with you.
Of all days that we need to fill time, I don't
twice, you know?
I don't have anything to offer.
Yeah. So. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? Yeah. Yeah. All right, you got something, don't you? You got something. We got 5 minutes. Nothing. Don't have nothing. Nothing.
Maybe
I have
Councilmember
something.
Milky has something.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, we went to the garden club event today.
We did. It was nice.
Yeah, so, you know, if the public doesn't know, the garden club beautifies the 5 corners where the waterfowl is off of Goldsboro Street. Isn't it Goldsboro Street? I'm on the right street.
Washington, Peach Blossom.
Washington, there you go. See, I was on the wrong street. But anyway, they had the dedication this morning, and I mean, they keep those flowers so pretty there. A lot of weddings that take place at the Tidewater and at the various churches, specifically St. Mark's, they pose in front of the water fountain to have pictures done. So it was a great day to be able to present them with accommodation from the council. So Dave and myself attended, and I shared with them 24 years ago on May 15th, my husband and I got married at St. Mark's Church and took our pictures, our wedding pictures there with our wedding party. So it was something near and dear to my heart. So next week, I think it is, will be our 24th anniversary. So that was a great event. And if you haven't checked it out, or if you don't notice it as you're riding past, go out there and just do some selfies.
That's great. That's great. Okay. Miss Melky, you got anything for us?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. Mr. Stamp, we're relying on you.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
okay. Tell us something good at EMS or something, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
APC last week, we can do that.
Well, Council, I'm fresh out of business for
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
today.
What was that?
Think-
What was
Yeah, I'll say
yeah.
last week was another one. So last Thursday morning, on the 27th, it was nice to join our local emergency planning committee
Mhm.
as liaison to that committee.
Mhm.
It's really neat to see a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes from a lot of our local leaders, just in regards to what they do to make sure our community remains safe, not only just in day-to-day operations, but when and if bad things ever happen, those folks that are ready to mobilize. It's really good to know. It's really good to know, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
should be glad that there's folks that are out there that are donating their time to make sure things
Right.
are safe for all of us. So.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I can add that I attended a Paramedic Foundation meeting the other evening, and I'm happy to report that our partnership with the County Council and the Paramedic Foundation and the Department of Emergency Services is healthy and moving forward. They came in and presented to this council when you were first elected. Since then, they've been able to erect public access automated external defibrillators, or otherwise known as AEDs, at Idlewild Park, North Park. And they are moving on to look at other locations around the county to place these AEDs in partnership with the county. So that's an excellent program that has deep roots. Talbot County was recognized a number of years ago as a leader in the in making these AED units available for early defibrillation for people that go into cardiac arrest. As you know, in those situations, it's all about time. And so, again, happy to report that the Paramedic Foundation, the county, and Department of Emergency Services, and our volunteer fire companies are working together
That's good.
to save lives.
That's good. And just to follow up on that, I think it might be important. We talked to Brian, come in here and did that with us, a presentation of that. And we might, when we have those stations around, so it might not hurt to do at a council meeting, help them show us how that emergency can take place, because you'll be able to go into that box and get it.
I think that's an excellent idea, Mr.
Yeah,
Council President,
yeah.
because we could do a demonstration here.
Correct.
I mean, everybody that is a football fan may
Mhm.
have observed on national TV
Mhm.
how early defibrillation can save a life.
Right,
With the young
correct.
football player that went into
Right.
cardiac arrest there and was saved by early defibrillation. So we
Right.
will schedule that.
Yeah, I think I'd be helping if it helps, Okay, so, all right, I guess we're in pretty good shape now. So we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing. And Mr. Lesher, you want to go ahead and start opening it up and reading to put us into order, please.
So there are two public hearings today, and if you wish to speak at either of these hearings, please, when you come forward, state your name and address for the record. You will be given 3 minutes to speak if you are representing yourself, and 5 minutes if you are speaking on behalf of a group or association. The first hearing is on a public hearing on the constant yield tax rate. And this language that we need to read into the record is the prescribed language that the state of Maryland says that we need to say, so that you will understand that we are raising taxes regardless of what happens to the tax rate. The County Council, in the FY 2024 proposed budget, is proposing to adopt a real property tax rate of 68.20 cents per $100 of assessed valuation for all properties located outside the incorporated towns. This is $2.55 higher than the current real property tax rate. I'm sorry, this is 2.55 cents higher than the current real property tax rate, not $2.
Yeah.
It's 2.55 cents higher than the current real property tax rate. This rate is 5.3% higher than the constant yield rate of 64.76 cents, and will generate $694,247 more in property tax revenues in fiscal year 2024 from the unincorporated area of the county. Properties located within the incorporated towns will again be granted a tax rate differential, which sets their real property tax rates between 6.01 and 13.3 cents lower than the county rate. The county real property tax rates for properties located within the towns are higher than the constant yield rate for the towns. The County Council will not adopt the fiscal year 2024 tax rate today. The fiscal year 2024 tax rate will be adopted as part of the fiscal year 2023 to 2024 annual budget and appropriation ordinance currently scheduled for adoption on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023. Now that we have this prescribed state legislation, state legislative language, you are absolutely clear on what we're doing. Is that correct? But yes, in fact, we are raising rates, and these rates are in fact going up within the tax cap allowed by the Talbot County taxpayers, including crucially the additional penny that the taxpayers voted on a few years ago, and as promised to the voters, we are again directing the bulk of those funds toward public safety. So it's at this point, I think do we move to the presentation?
We do. Yep.
Mr. Lesher,
Yes.
President Kelly,
Yep.
so you're going to open the public hearing on the constant yield.
Okay.
And see if anybody wishes to speak on that.
So we do that first.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. Okay, at this time, we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing to the constant yield. And would anybody like to come up and speak on that? Okay. Frank, please. Okay, okay. Okay.
And now you're going to close the hearing on the constant yield.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and close that on the constant yield at this time.
Well, that's good. We haven't broken our record of having nobody testify whatsoever on the constant yield tax rate.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so we're going to move on. Yep, go ahead.
So at this point, Mrs. Moran, if you'll please read the title of Bill 1529.
Bill number 1529, an act to establish the 2023-2024 annual budget and appropriation ordinance.
Okay.
And we're, at this point, then, I think it's appropriate for us to hear from our finance director and to introduce the content of this budget bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Council,
Yes.
I'll start this off and then hand it off to our finance director, Martha Sparks. First of all, Council, thank you for your support in developing this proposed FY24 budget. And I also want to thank all those organizations, agencies, and departments that worked hard to forecast their needs in order to continue to provide key services for the community. And a special thank you to Martha, Caitlin, the Assistant Finance Director, and Jessica Morris, the Assistant County Manager, who worked diligently into the nights many times. And finally, again, to you, Council, for rolling your sleeves up and working with staff very hard to make sure that we continue to provide the conservative budgeting practices that have been successful in Talbot County in the past, moving forward, and yet providing those key services. I want to talk just a little bit about our budget strategy this year. The budget strategy included a strong focus on public safety and education and utilized the traditional and successful practice of conservative budgeting and estimating revenues and expenditures. It reflects a significant investment in our employees, who are the backbone of our service delivery in what has become a highly competitive workforce environment. It prioritizes funding for capital improvement projects that addresses our community resiliency pillars, which are public safety, health and education, economic stability, the environment, and infrastructure. It addresses escalating costs associated with state mandated funding requirements, such as with education, required boards, and the minimum wage increase. And finally, it maintains a healthy fund balance for economic uncertainties in light of the inflationary pressures, supply line challenges, and cost fluctuations, to include the required rainy day fund for unanticipated events. And then I just want to go over a few key initiatives. As an example, this budget funds the North EMS station and personnel, which will improve response times and ultimately patient outcomes. It has funding for the replacement of the computer-aided dispatch software system for the 911 center, which will enhance the accuracy of information and ultimately the rapid delivery of law enforcement and emergency services. It has funding increases for our volunteer fire departments to address operational costs, support training, and personnel retention and recruitment efforts. It provides a significant funding increase for the Board of Education that includes state-mandated funding for schools, along with additional requests for social workers and a capital funds for the Chapel District Elementary School and White Marsh School. And it provides funding for infrastructure for roadway enhancements, culvert replacements, and the extension of sewer service in an effort to remove dependence on septic systems. So again, Council, I thank you for your support in developing this proposed budget. And at this point, I'll turn it over to your Finance Director, Martha Sparks. Thank you, Martha.
Welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon.
Staff is presenting to Council a balanced general fund budget of $128,849,000 for the 2024 fiscal year. This budget continues the county's conservative budgeting policies. These budgeting practices have served the county well and have placed us in a healthy financial position. Some of the items in the fiscal year 2024 budget include revenues that are 2% over the FY23 property tax revenues, which is in accordance with our charter, an additional 1 cent increase to the property tax rate as authorized by the voters of Talbot County in November 2020 to support public safety expenditures, and a 4.8% education supplement to support Talbot County Public Schools budget initiatives. Funding Talbot County Schools $286,000 over the county's mandated adjusted local share for a total of $50.9 million, an increase of $4.1 million from FY23. An additional $900,000 has been allocated for school renovations within capital improvements projects. $1.1 million for capital outlay or purchases of vehicle and equipment, $6.68 million in transfers to capital projects, a 4% cost of living adjustment and 1 step for county employees, and 16 additional positions were added that focus on public safety. In our FY24 budget, we have projected a 13.19% increase in property tax revenues, all within the requirements, within the restriction of our charter. A 9.14% increase in income tax revenues, increases in other taxes, intergovernmental revenues, and transfers brings us to an overall increase in revenues of 14.42%. Talbot County receives the majority of its revenues from property and income taxes. Together, they make up 68.2% of the county's revenues, with 44.1% coming from property taxes. Recordation and transfer taxes are the next largest group of county revenues, contributing approximately 9.3%. The county has historically made conservative projections of its revenues, and this strategy has been successful in producing strong reserves. Our proposed property tax rate of 0.7434 for county-owned properties includes property tax revenues that are 2% over FY23 revenues, which is in accordance with our charter. These prior revenue levels have been certified by the State Department of Assessments and Taxation. An additional 1 cent increase to the property tax rate as authorized by the voters of Talbot County in November 2020 to support public safety, and a 4.8% educational supplement to support Talbot County Public Schools. The county's property tax rate will increase 6.14 cents over the FY23 rate, which amounts to a 9% increase. 3.48% increase, or 2.34 cents of the increase is part of the county real property tax rate. The remaining 5.52% increase is attributable to the education supplement used to pay for the increased funding for our schools. The county tax bill for a home with a property assessment of $300,000 will increase from $2,046 to $2,230, which is a $184 increase. $144, which is attributable to the education supplement. And we have provided a sample of what this homeowner's tax bill would look like. To provide context with the rest of the state, in FY23, our county property tax rate of 68 cents was the lowest in the 23 counties in Baltimore City. Fitch Rating Agency noted this in their bond rating when they said the county's property tax rate remains one of the lowest of any county in the state. And to add perspective to this property tax increase, I'd like to point out that other counties will also be experiencing the same challenges of the increased funding requirements of Maryland's blueprint. In comparison to other counties, Talbot County currently has the second lowest income tax rate at 2.40%. Fitch Ratings best describes Talbot County's income tax revenues when it says income taxes are a higher percentage of revenues than is true for most Maryland counties, and this is partially due to the very low tax environment compared to the rest of the state, which provides an incentive for a small number of high-income earners with second homes to declare their income in the county. Talbot County's income tax revenues are volatile and difficult to predict due to those small percentage of high-wage earners that claim Talbot County as their home. Our FY24 budget represents a moderate increase in projections of income tax revenues at $31 million. In FY21 and FY22, Talbot County experienced the highest levels of its recordation and transfer taxes, but in FY23, we've experienced a leveling, and it's been smoothing to more normal levels. And our FY24 budget projections for those taxes have slightly increased, but they're still following our conservative budgeting methodology. Overall, education expenditures for Talbot County represent 43.7% of its budget, and Talbot County Schools represents 42.1% of those expenditures. The other portion of that is for Chesapeake College. Mandatory funding of the Maryland Blueprint for schools saw a $4.8 million increase over last year. In addition to the mandated funding, Talbot County has included an additional $286,000 for 3 social workers. By moving the increase in school funding to the educational supplement, the county is providing a more structurally balanced budget. $900,000 has also been included for capital projects requests for school renovations at Chapel Elementary. Also included in part of the sheriff's budget is the cost of 3 resource officers, or SROs as we call them. And the health department's request for additional funding for school nurses has also been included in the FY24 budget. And I'd like to point out that public safety accounts for our second greatest expenditure, and that is 23.8% of the budget. $1.1 million in capital outlay requests are included in this budget. The original capital outlay request from the departments totaled $3.5 million, and this was reduced because we rolled our sleeves up and the county manager got to work and had discussions with our department heads to reduce that amount. And it was reduced through a combination of cuts to the requests and the determination that some of these purchases could be made with FY23 budget appropriations through the 4th quarter transfer process, which we have started with council. Also included in this budget is $6.8 million for transfers to capital improvement projects. Personnel actions that were taken in this budget are a 4% cost of living adjustment and 1 step for employees, and 16 additional positions were added to increase government services, but there was an emphasis and focus on public safety with those increased positions. Also included in the increase in operating expenses is the debt service for our public safety building and new health department, which is $1.9 million, or 3.37% of the increase in operating expenses. In regards to the fund balance at the end of June 30th, 2022 was $68.3 million, with $14.9 million designated as rainy day reserves. These reserves give the county less exposure to the risks associated with revenue and expenditure volatility, particularly in times of inflation or recession. And we are currently experiencing elevated levels of inflation, and those increases are also included in this budget. This strong fund balance is a result of the county's conservative budgeting methods, and those conservative budgeting methods were guidance for staff in the formulation of the budget that you have before you. And in closing, I'd like to highlight the recent bond ratings of Talbot County. In September of 2022, we were rated by Moody's Investor Service and Fitch Ratings as part of our process to go out for a bond issuance for a new public safety building and new health department. These ratings serve as a measure of the financial health of the county and how well it navigates its budget process. These ratings serve as Talbot County's budgeting and fiscal management report card. Moody's Investor Service has said that financially the county is very strong and the management team is generally conservative in its budgeting. Our credit strengths were low long-term liabilities with a manageable long-term capital plan and a very strong reserve position. And in Fitch Ratings, Fitch's assessment of the county's financial resilience as being in the highest category is based on the combined strength of its fund balance position, its ample expenditure flexibility, and its strong ability to adjust revenues through policy action to counterbalance its historically volatile revenues. The county typically increases its property tax levy by the full amount allowed annually under the county charter. Both the property and the income tax rates remain the lowest in the state.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sparks. Good job. Okay. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing for comments.
And we have
Yep.
several people who have signed up to testify in advance of the hearing.
Okay.
The first on that list is Dana Newman, representing the Talbot County Free Library.
I'm going to be very, very brief. I want to thank the county staff and the county council for your support of the library and our patrons and our community who really value the library during this tough time. I also want to thank you for your support of the St. Michael's Library and for the update and expansion that we're planning on doing there, and very much for your support of the COLA increase that we requested for staff. They do a wonderful job, and your staff do as well, and we wouldn't be who we are without their wonderful support. So I just wanted to make sure that you're thanked for that, because we value our employees and we value being able to keep them happy and being able to allow them to afford all the increases that they're facing right now. So thank you very much, and I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And next is Frank DeVillio, representing the Neighborhood Service Center.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Frank DeVillio, 29426 Andrew Lane, Chairman of the Neighborhood Service Center. And I just wanted to come in for 3 quick points for the NSC. One, I really wanted to thank you guys for all the support over the years. We celebrated our 50th anniversary recently with a luncheon at the Tidewater Inn. It was supposed to be a couple years ago, but COVID prevented that from happening. So when we had the opportunity, we took that. With that, there was a brief mention that there will be a capital campaign kicking off, which leads me into my second point. The Neighborhood Service Center, just like Talbot County, just like you guys, we work with pennies to try to help people. And there's not that much money to go around, but there's a lot of need. If you look at the Neighborhood Service Center, you'll see an old, outdated, antiquated building. You'll see huge potholes, you won't see murals, you won't see landscaping, you won't see anything extra. All you'll see is a food bank and support to help those who are either about to be evicted or to have their utilities cut off. So when you think about a business or a service that's providing that types of services to the community, those individuals do not complain when they're getting help. I do have a survey that I'll leave with Mr. Stamp so that you can see how much they appreciate what is done, but let you know that we will be looking to expand that building to try to improve services as well as try to come up with our own ways to generate revenue.
Right.
Which leads me into my next point. We're funded by a formula, federal government. Just like the schools, we know how the formulas do not work well here. We do get shortchanged on that. We're going to be $27,000 less, or have $27,000 less revenue from the federal government this year due to one of the grants, just the formula changing. So that's why you saw the ask that you received from us.
Okay.
Let me see, and Marilyn Neal had. Oh, and Marilyn Neal's other point that she wanted me to bring up was the competitive salaries. There's only 14 people who work in there, yet they're serving thousands of individuals every year. And those salaries are going to have to go up as minimum wage is increasing. So again, we're looking to our donors. Stock market's all in flux right now. It's hard to get the donations out of that. So again, that's also for the reason why we had the ask that we did this year. So again, I do really appreciate all that you have done for us for over the previous years. If you would like to have a tour, I would love to have you there, show you the facility, and get your opinions on improvements of what we can do to improve things there.
Okay.
Otherwise, thank you very much for your time today.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Villia. Appreciate it.
Good seeing you.
Yep. Good seeing you.
That's what happens when you tell me you missed me.
I know it. Exactly.
Next up is Dr. Cliff Coppersmith of Chesapeake College.
Good afternoon, Mr. President,
Okay.
members of the council.
Good afternoon.
I too will be brief. This is my favorite time of the year as we finish up our budget cycle, which began last August, and then we get a couple of months break, and we'll be starting up again in just a couple of months. I want to also thank county staff who we work with very closely on this process, who've been very helpful. You know, when I started my undergraduate work, I was a political science major and majored in public policy, and I just find myself amazed that I have kind of at the end of my professional life, and I'm not quite done, but I find myself doing the very things I was learning about as an undergraduate many, many years ago. So I want to thank the council for its support of Chesapeake this year. All of you were at our budget meeting just a week or so ago, and it was just great to see all of you, both our new council members, but also our continuing ones. And I just personally thank each one of you for your support of the college. Many of you have had long experience with the institution, and I'm proud to lead it. In closing, I just want to remind you that our commencement is coming up on May 24th, and you're of course invited to participate. We'll be graduating at least 255 students this year. That number goes up every day, of which the last number I have for Talbot is you have 58 plus students that will be graduating from Chesapeake this spring. But again, thank you all so much for your support of Chesapeake College. Very much appreciated.
Yep. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
And Mr. Callahan, those are all that who have signed up in advance, so we can
Okay.
open it up for those
Okay,
for others
so
who are here.
we'll go ahead and open it up, and over here to my left. Yep.
Good afternoon again.
Good
My name is
afternoon.
Charlene Brooks. I live at 8505 Tillman Allen Road in Whitman. And I'm here today representing Upper Shore Aging, of which Brooks' Place is a part of. I'm speaking on behalf of Bill Shreves, the president of the board, and Andy Hollis, our executive director. Unfortunately, they are in Chestertown this afternoon presenting their budget request to the Kent County Commissioners, so they could not attend this hearing. We want to thank the County Council for your continuing support of our agency. Your financial contributions provide services for the senior citizens of Talbot County, and we are proud to provide them on behalf of the county government. We realize that the county faces significant pressures to provide funding to a variety of organizations and causes, but your continuing support of services to seniors speaks clearly of your priority to support our aging community. While a thank you seems insufficient, know that it is sincere and heartfelt. And that's from all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else on here on my left? Come on up. State's attorney here.
Yes.
Yes,
Joe
I'm not in
Coleman,
trouble,
State's Attorney's
right?
Office.
I'm not in trouble, right?
You're not in trouble.
Okay, good.
Not
That's
this
good.
time.
That's good. That's
I'll
good.
be brief. Joseph Cole, State's Attorney. And I'll be brief too. I just wanted to thank the council for your support for public safety and specifically for the State's Attorney's Office and law enforcement in general.
Right.
I wanted to thank Ms. Sparks and Mr. Stamp and their staff for being very professional, making my first budget relatively painless process. So on behalf of myself, my office, and my staff, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, good. Okay, okay. Anybody else? Now, you know I was gonna say something. You knew I was gonna say something. Okay, all right. It'd be tonight. Are you gonna be there tonight? Okay, good. All right, to my right. Okay, there's the sheriff.
I don't want to be the spoiler today.
Don't do that to us.
So I won't. I just want to
Exactly.
thank you, Mr.
Yep.
President,
Yep.
Mr. Vice President, Council, for your continued support of public safety in this county. I'm proud to lead this office, and I'm more proud to be a part of this community that values public safety and the importance of public safety and your commitment to that. I can only imagine the difficult decisions you had to make between a $128 million budget, but thank you from my office, and thank you for Mr. Cole's, your commitment to him at the State's Attorney's Office, because without them, we would just be spinning our wheels.
Right.
Clay and Jessica, thank you. Martha and Caitlin, thank you both for all the work you put in to help us.
Yep. Thank you, Sheriff.
Have a great
Appreciate
day.
it. Yep. Okay, anybody else like to come up? Okay. Okay.
So written comments will be accepted by the county council until Friday, May 5th at noon, if there's nobody else to testify tonight.
Right.
This afternoon.
Right.
Until Friday, May the 5th at noon. Emailed comments can be sent to public comment at talbotcountymd.gov. So our task now, Mr. President, is to recess this hearing so that we can, the public hearing on bill number 1529 will continue at 7:00 p.m. this evening at the Easton Elementary School cafeteria at 307 Glenwood Avenue.
And read the back. The bill is eligible for vote on Tuesday, May 23rd. Okay. So at this time, we'll recess and we'll move on to
So in closing, the
Okay.
County Council's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 9th, beginning at 6:00 p.m. The council will be convening an open session at 3:30 p.m. for a work session with the local delegation to discuss the 2023 state legislative session, and then adjourning into closed session to discuss real estate, legal, and personnel matters as listed on the statement for closing that meeting. The work session is open to the public and will be held in the Bradley meeting room here. Therefore, is there a motion to recess this meeting and reconvene as noted?
So moved.
Oh, I think I think you opened it up before, so.
Okay. All right, I got a motion and second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and second to go ahead and adjourn this meeting? Recess, I'm sorry. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Ms. Heath?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you this evening.